Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. I am going to be giving you the big news on Chong, also going to be giving you some latest news regarding Jude Bellingham, also going to be giving you the latest news regarding Jesse Lingard, and there is lots of other things to currently talk about on this video. But the first topic of development I'm going to start with is Chong. So it did confirm from a lot of media outlets yesterday that Chong has committed his future with Manchester United because he has signed a new contract with the football club until 2022 with an option of a further year. So Chong has signed a 2-year contract at Manchester United, and I think the deal is worth in the region of around £30,000 a week. Obviously, it was looking very likely that Chong was going to be leaving the football club at one point, because before he signed this new contract, his current contract was due to expire at the end of the season. I do believe his agent held negotiations with Inter Milan because Inter Milan were interested in him. Also, too, Juventus had expressed their interest in Chong. Of course, Manchester United got Chong from Feyenoord back in 2016. Obviously, Chong's made around 14 first team appearances for the football club, and Chong did make his senior debut in our 2-0 win against Reading last season in the FA Cup third round. But like I mentioned before, his appearances have been limited. At Manchester United. So I'm shocked by this because I thought Chong was going to be one of the players that was going to be leaving Manchester United this summer. But yeah, it's been confirmed he has extended his contract with the football club as Chong. So just wanted to give you the news on that. So now we'll delve into the news regarding Jude Bellingham. Now, reports confirmed yesterday that Jude Bellingham had visited our Carrington training ground. I think he did actually hold negotiations with Sir Alex Ferguson, did Jude Bellingham, ahead of a summer move to Manchester United. Now, don't forget we was in for Jude Bellingham back in the January transfer window. We put around a £30 million bid in for Jude Bellingham. Obviously, I think Birmingham do value him at around at least £30 million. Quite a few other clubs have been in for Jude Bellingham. Also, too, Borussia Dortmund have expressed their interest in the player. He is only at the age of 16, so he is inexperienced, is Jude Bellingham. But I think Man United are going to go in for him in the summer. I think he's predominantly number 10, but he can also play him as a winner. I think he's expected to sign a professional contract with Birmingham this summer because he can't sign a professional contract until he is the age of 17. From my own perception on Jude Bellingham, I think he should be given at least another season in the Championship because I don't think he's got the minerals yet to come and succeed in the Premier League. And don't forget, this is only his first season in the Championship. Jude Bellingham made his senior debut at the age of 16 years and 38 days. So I think he's become the youngest player to ever represent Birmingham. But he's played on a regular basis this season for Birmingham, and he's become an integral part of their team, to be fair. I think he's played around 35 games this season for Birmingham as Jude Bellingham. So, he could leave Birmingham in the summer, but that did stir a lot of suggestions up, when he came and visited our Carrington training ground yesterday. I think also too, so did his parents. So yeah, that stirred a lot of suggestions up. But Jude Bellingham could cost him the access of around £50 million. So it could maybe even cost more than £30 million. So yeah, he's held talks with Sir Alex Ferguson. So that's the latest news regarding Jude Bellingham. Now, I'm going to give you the news regarding Jesse Lingard. Reportedly, Manchester United are ready to sell Jesse Lingard this summer. The main explanations for this is because since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes, Jesse Lingard has lost his place in the team, and he's lost the confidence of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because Jesse Lingard has been so inconsistent, and he has received a lot of criticism for his bad run of performances as Jesse Lingard. Now, I think Jesse Lingard's got around, 16 months or just under 16 months left on his contract. Jesse Lingard still feels as though, he's one of the best number 10s, but he's not going to get into the team now because the arrival of Bruno Fernandes. And I have got the same perception on Andres Pereira. He's now going to struggle to get into the team. Now, obviously, Jesse Lingard should be putting much more better performances out, reflecting on, the number of years he's been at the club and also reflecting on his status at the football club. Obviously, he's been here for a long time, like I mentioned. Jesse Lingard did have loan spells with Leicester, Birmingham, Brighton and Derby. And how old is he now? Is he like 27 or 28 years of age? So, yeah, he's one player that Manchester United do need to get rid of. His stats were so poor last season. Didn't register one goal or one single assist. So that just indicates how poor Jesse Lingard has been. Whether you put him in number 10 or whether you put him on the right, we just can't seem to get the best out of him. So I think it's beneficial that we do move Jesse Lingard on. And Solskjaer is definitely ready to sell him. And we're looking to replace him with either Jack Grealish or James Maddison because they're two players on our agenda. So, I think we'll also get rid of Andres Pereira as well. I think he's also another player that needs to go. We have played Andres Pereira a lot this season, but I think the main explanation why we've played Andres Pereira a lot was with the injury of Scott McTominay, but obviously now McTominay is back. Andres Pereira is going to find game time very, very difficult. And but I think, Man United are going to get rid of around 4 or 5 players this summer. We are going to get rid of some players this summer. So like I mentioned, I think Lingard's going to go. I think Pereira's going to go. Angel Gomez, he's coming to an end of his contract. His contract expires at the end of the season. I think we need to move Angel Gomez on because he isn't getting enough chances at Manchester United. Is Angel Gomez. Phil Jones, definitely he's another player that needs to be moved on because his appearances are limited at the club and he isn't getting enough chances. Is Phil Jones. Phil Jones, of course, now is into his 9th season at Manchester United. He's been a long-serving player here and he has been here since the Alex Ferguson era. So he's another player I would get rid of. Obviously, we do now know that Nemanja Matic is staying at Manchester United. He's staying now because it got confirmed recently, like he updated you, that he has agreed a new contract with the football club. I think it was a 2-year deal that Nemanja Matic has signed. I think he's been given this contract reflecting on his good run of performances because he has recently rejuvenated himself as Nemanja Matic. Obviously, he's a backup to Fred and McTominay. But I thought when McTominay was absent, Matic did really, really well. So Matic does deserve a lot of credit, He does deserve a lot of credit. Obviously, Matic is now into his 3rd season at the club. Manchester United paid £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2017 and he did then initially sign a 3-year contract. Matic has made just over 100 appearances for Manchester United. So we know he's going to be staying at the football club. David De Gea, could still leave Manchester United in the summer. Obviously, there has been a lot of narratives in the media saying he could leave in the summer. Like he updated you the other day, he did say Real Madrid were planning to put around a £70 million bid in for David De Gea. If David De Gea was to leave Manchester United, I think he would make a return back to Spain. Because don't forget, he's born in Spain, his relatives are from Spain, his girlfriend's from Spain. So this is what makes me think he would go back to Spain, David De Gea. Now, like I mentioned before, Real Madrid have been relentlessly linked with him. They dropped their interest for a while, but now it said they've reignited their interest. They nearly got him 5 years ago, like I mentioned, but due to a fax machine on deadline day, the deal never materialised. So he ended up staying at Manchester United, did David De Gea. Obviously, the likes of PSG and Juventus have expressed their interest. I still think in this day and age, David De Gea is worth around £70 million, even though he hasn't been so good in the last year and a half or so. Obviously, David De Gea signed a new long-term contract in September of last year. He signed a 4-year contract with an option of a further year. And he's on £375,000 a week. So he is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, is David De Gea. But David De Gea is now into his 9th season at Man United. He has enjoyed 8 years here. And Solskjaer gave his overarching view on him, and Solskjaer still believes that David De Gea is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And he is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Reflecting on what he's achieved at the club. He's won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the past 6 years, is it, or something like that? Reflect on his good run of performances. He's won everything here domestically. He's made just over 300 appearances for the club in the Premier League, nearly 400 appearances is it in all competitions, and he's kept over 100 clean sheets as David De Gea. But yeah, we'll definitely, if we do sell him, we're definitely going to get a lot more than what we paid for him, because we paid £17 million him from Atletico Madrid, and we did get David De Gea under the Alex Ferguson era. Yes, we did. We got him under the Alex Ferguson era. And I think he also enjoyed a difficult first season. But, obviously there's a lot of rumours saying that Dean Henderson is going to come back to Manchester United after his loan spell with Sheffield United. And I think Dean Henderson does want to come back. But there again, he's got a huge decision to make. There's been reports saying that, he's going to become our number one goalkeeper when he does return from his loan spell. Manchester United did make the right decision, by sending Dean Henderson out on loan, because, it has given him more experience. Also, too, we've got Sergio Romero. He's our second choice keeper. He tends to play in the cup games. We've got Lee Grant. He's seldom played for Man United since his arrival from Stoke in the summer of 2018. So yeah, like I mentioned, around 4 or 5 players are going to leave Manchester United this summer. Now, we'll delve into a bit of the transfer news. I have been, keep you up to date with some of the transfer news and that. Obviously, let's talk about Jadon Sancho. I have been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho, because Jadon Sancho is our number one priority target for the summer. We have been relentlessly linked with Jadon Sancho. Now, I think Jadon Sancho has revealed that his preference is a move to Manchester United this summer, because he hinted this out on Instagram that he wants to make the move to Manchester United, does Jadon Sancho. Now, Borussia Dortmund have already quoted out how much they want for the player, and they want minimum £100 million. Maybe Jadon Sancho could cost us £120 million, but either way, we're going to have to make him our most expensive signing, and it'll make him a record signing in the Premier League. Our most expensive signing at the moment is Paul Pogba, who we paid £89 million for. Also, too, it says Man United are willing to offer him around £200,000 a week. Obviously, that means he would be one of the highest paid players at the club, not just, not just the most expensive player. Now, obviously, quite a lot of clubs have expressed their interest in Jadon Sancho. Real Madrid, Chelsea, Liverpool, PSG. A lot of clubs have been interested in Jadon Sancho, but I think he's keen on making the move to Man United, because don't forget, he has played in Manchester before. He did serve a couple of years at Manchester City, but never really got any first team opportunities at Man City, and this is the main explanation why I left City to join Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund will look at it from a financial point of view, and they'll, say, we know he's an imperative player, but we're going to make a huge profit on the player, because we only paid £7 or £8 million for him from Man City. Sancho's under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. But Sky in Germany reported out the other week saying that he's expected to leave Borussia Dortmund at the end of the season. This is what Sky in Germany said, because you can say he's enjoyed a difficult season with Borussia Dortmund. He has been dropped in a lot of games this season for Borussia Dortmund, but I think in his 2 previous seasons he's done really, really well. I think in total for Borussia Dortmund he's scored 31 goals in 89 matches for them, so he's done really, really well. But it would be beneficial for his career for Jadon Sancho to come back to the Premier League. Some people are saying we need qualification for the Champions League to get Jadon Sancho on the board. That's the main explanation why we missed out on him last year, because, we failed to qualify for the Champions League. But Jadon Sancho is predominantly a right winger, and you can also play him centrally. But I do believe he complement our attacking line really, really well, and he would dramatically improve us. Plus, he's very, very young. Is he 19 or is he now 20, Jadon Sancho? But he would fit our transfer strategy perfectly. And Duncan Castles came out himself the other week, and he tends to be close to United, and he said he favours a move to Manchester United this summer, does Jadon Sancho. So hopefully we can get him on the board. Also too, Jack Grealish, he's another player on our agenda. Obviously, I think he's expected to cost us around £60 million, is Jack Grealish. He's also well Premier League proven. We're basically seeing Jack Grealish as the adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, because we expect Paul Pogba to leave the football club in the summer. But yeah, Jack Grealish, I think we want to get a deal finalised for Jack Grealish as soon as possible. We want to get a deal finalised for him. because there has been reports saying that he's going to make his England debut this year in the European Championships, and we can't wait until after the Euros because we'll probably have to pay more money than him. It also depends on whether Villa can avoid relegation or not. If they can avoid relegation, then maybe his asking price will go up. But if they were to get relegated, then probably his asking price will go down, or it'd just stay the same as it is. It's in the 50 odd, £60 million range. That's how much Manchester United are going to have to pay for Jack Grealish. But I think Jack Grealish is keen on making the move to Man United. Obviously, he's got around the 45 million release clause in his contract with Aston Villa. Obviously, he's got a contract with Villa until 2023. But like I mentioned, he's up until this point, he's spent the entirety of his career with Villa. At one point, he did have a loan spell with Notts County. He's predominantly an attacking mid. You can play him as a winner occasionally. And but he has become an integral part of Dean Smith's team, to be fair, as Jack Grealish. But Jack Grealish should want to leave anywhere if Villa, were to get relegated. Don't forget, Tottenham came very, very close to getting him back in the summer of 2018, but they never did get him. So he's another player on our agenda, is Jack Grealish. Obviously, there's reports again coming out about James Maddison. There's been reports saying that Man United are planning to put around a £100 million bidding for Grealish and James Maddison. I like James Maddison a lot, as you all know. Obviously, I hadn't spoken to you about Maddison in a while. Like I mentioned, he's become an integral part of Leicester's team. Got to say, he's done really, really well under Brendan Rodgers' guidance. He also did well in his debut season last season, did James Maddison, but he's going to cost us quite a bit of money. Probably would cost us maybe at least 50 or 60 odd million pounds. Probably would cost us a similar fee to Jack Grealish, or maybe the exact same fee. But James Maddison is well Premier League proven. Is he now 23 or 24 years of age? Leicester paid, £20 million in from Norwich in the summer of 2018. So I think Leicester could get triple what they paid for him, to be quite honest with you. So he's another player on our agenda. So that's the latest on all the transfer news. But like I mentioned to you yesterday, Solskjaer has confirmed that he wants to bring around 2 or 3 signings to Manchester United this summer, because he believes that's how many signings Manchester United do need to become title contenders. This is what Solskjaer does believe. I think Solskjaer's in search for a centre forward. He's in search for a winner, and also is in search for a central midfielder. So there's still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed, definitely. Obviously, since Solskjaer's come in, he's spent around £220 million at Manchester United on 5 players. Obviously, last summer he brought Daniel James in for £15 million. Obviously, Daniel James has been a consistent starter for Manchester United. I'm surprised he's played as many games to the extent as he has done as Daniel James. Obviously, he played against City at the weekend, but he missed the 2 previous games before that because obviously he'd been out with injury, Daniel James. But to be fair, Solskjaer's been overplaying in Moussaka. He's become an integral part of our team since, his arrival from Palace last summer. He's done really, really well. The good news is now about Moussaka, we are starting to see the attacking side of his game, but his defensive contribution, his distribution's absolutely immense. Is Moussaka's definitely. And Harry Maguire, we paid 80 million for him. And obviously, he's the second most expensive sign at the club. And he's the most expensive defender in the world, is Harry Maguire. And you've got to say he has addressed our defensive deficiencies. And I'm very, very delighted that we give him the captaincy on a permanent basis. We give him the captaincy following the departure of Ashley Young. So they've all done really, really well. And in January, he got Bruno Fernandes in for £68 million. And of course, he brought Odin Ighalo in on loan until the end of the season. And like I mentioned, Bruno Fernandes is making the difference in the team. His decision-making's good. He's very, very instrumental, and Solskjaer's been urged to build a team around Bruno Fernandes. He's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career. He's already on 3 goals. He's also provided 3 assists, because he got an assist for Martial's goal at the weekend, did Bruno Fernandes, but very, very good player. I've got to be honest, I think he's one of the best signings that Man United have made since the Alex Ferguson era, and I think we've recruited over 30 players in total since the Alex Ferguson era. Not only that, also to spend a hell of a lot of money on recruiting new players in. But he is the difference in the team is Bruno Fernandes. And Solskjaer was asked about the partnership of Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba, and I think they complement each other fantastically well. But I think if Jack Grealish was to come in, he'd complement Bruno Fernandes well. So too would James Maddison. And, Solskjaer's praised him, for the impact he's made, because Solskjaer is aware the difference he is making in the team. He's showing good character. His leadership's very, very good. And Bruno Fernandes still got a lot of years ahead of him. Odion Ighalo, he's also the vocal point. He's done really, really well. He scored 3 goals in 2 starts for the football club. 2 goals against Derby, and the other goal came against Club Brugge. Solskjaer did make an admission saying that, he could actually, make Odion Ighalo's transfer permanent. But obviously, we've got him on loan until the end of the season. It is a 6-month loan. Like I said, we paid around 3 or 4 million for the loan, and we're paying like a third of his wages. But like I mentioned, Odion Ighalo is a good cover-up to Marcus Rashford. He's a very, very good cover-up for Marcus Rashford. He's obviously a different type of centre-forward. He's a lifelong Manchester United fan. So in a way, I'm very, very glad, that Manchester United did get him in. But like I mentioned, more signings are needed at Manchester United in the summer. Definitely more signings are needed. And I don't know if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still going to be at Manchester United going on into next season. Obviously, this is his first full season at the football club at the moment. He has been here over the year. But I think Manchester United are capable of getting, qualification for the Champions League. And I think if we can get qualification for the Champions League, then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, will be given another season at Manchester United. As it stands at the moment, we are just 3 points behind top 4. There's quite a few teams in that top 4 race. So we can definitely get qualification for the Champions League. We can get qualification for the Champions League, definitely in that. And obviously, we've got quite a few other priorities. Taking into account the Europa League is a priority for us, because that's another route to Champions League football. Plus, it's a chance of us getting some silverware on the board under Solskjaer, because we haven't won out in terms of silverware under Solskjaer, since he's come in. And also, too, the FA Cup is a priority for us, because that's a chance of getting some silverware on the board. So we have got, quite a few ambitions. If Man United weren't to get qualification for the Champions League, then I do believe Solskjaer would be gone at the end of the season. Obviously, there's still rumours going on about Mauricio Pochettino. Despite the good form that Manchester United have been in, because we have been in a good run of form recently, we are unbeaten in our last 10 games in all competitions. And in this 10-game unbeaten run, we've won 7, we've drawn 3. Not only that, we've also kept 8 clean sheets, so we have kept a lot of clean sheets. And reflect on this good run of form, maybe a lot of United fans and other people's perceptions have changed on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and now a lot of people will say, he deserves at least another season at Manchester United, because we do know actually that it is a transition period and that. And obviously, some people still believe that we need to get Pochettino in to replace Solskjaer. There's been a hell of a lot of rumours going on about Pochettino. Obviously, Real Madrid are in for Pochettino. The backing for him, Real Madrid have been long admirers of him anywhere. Obviously, a few other clubs have been in for Pochettino. There's been talks about him going back to Tottenham, because quite clearly Tottenham are not satisfied with Mourinho. They made a mistake getting rid of Pochettino, and we've been relentlessly linked with Pochettino. Personally speaking, I think we should have got Pochettino in after the sacking of Jose Mourinho in December 2018. We should have got him in then, but we decided to go with Solskjaer, because obviously the way we saw it is that Solskjaer knows the culture of the club. He was a great player for 11 years for Man United. Plus, he was a cheaper solution. And obviously, we give Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis, reflecting on what he did when he was the interim manager, because he did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. And in the last 10 games, we're replicating what he did when he was the interim manager, because it's our best run since he was the interim manager. But, if we were to get Pochettino in, it wouldn't be until the summer anyway. So obviously it'd avoid us paying compensation, because Tottenham would be entitled to around 10 million in compensation if he was to get another job before the end of the season. And obviously Pochettino has held negotiations with Man United earlier on this season. He did say he was interested in taking over at Manchester United. But yeah, he's a very, very good manager. I think he's a better manager than Solskjaer. I know Pochettino hasn't won out in terms of silverware, but that's my only element of concern. But I think he enjoyed a good 5.5 year tenure with Tottenham, won over 100 games for them in all competitions, progressed them to their first ever Champions League final last season. Got them second place, I think, one season, got them a couple of third, fourth place finishes. And, he's good also developing a lot of young players, is Maurizio Pochettino. But he's revealed that he now wants to return to management. I think he's keen on staying in England, is Pochettino, because he's managed 2 Premier League clubs, Tottenham and Southampton. He also had a good short tenure with Southampton. Before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol, was Pochettino. But he said after his sacking when he got sacked from Tottenham last year, he wanted an immediate return to management, did Pochettino on that. But probably will be determined to give Solskjaer another season at the football club. Obviously, Man United have already sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, we sacked David Moyes. Ferguson was at the fault for ever recommending him in. That's the only mistake Ferguson made. But the main explanation why I recommended him in is because they were both Scottish. Obviously, Van Gaal went, despite the fact he won the FA Cup under him. And of course, we did get rid of Jose Mourinho after he endured 2.5 years at Manchester United. But he did win the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. And of course, got Manchester United second place. Did Jose Mourinho. So Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. But people believe if Solskjaer's given the right amount of time, maybe he can emulate into next year and Klopp, or he can, invoke Ferguson's legacy. I don't see him invoking Ferguson's legacy, to be quite honest with you. I'm very, very sceptical that that's going to happen. Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years, but obviously, it was unbelievable what he went and accomplished after not winning out in his first 4 years and that. But Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding, and he's looking to buy into our history, basically, because like I've mentioned, we're one of the biggest clubs in the world with a fantastic history, like I've just said. Most successful team in England with 20, titles, 13 then Premier Leagues, fantastic fan base. We've had great players up and down the generations, we've had Rooney, we've had Michael Carrick, he was a good long-serving player, Paul Scholes, David Beckham, Van Nistelrooy, Ronaldo, Tevez. So many good players we've had up and down the generations and that. And I said I'm hopeful now that this team, this day and age, can replicate what, the team did under the Alex Ferguson era. And we have got a lot of good players in our team. And we are starting to play really, really good recently. So, you can take that as a positive. Definitely, you can take that as a positive. And obviously, Man United have had a lot of injuries this season, but that's not excusable for how inconsistent we've been this season. Obviously, we do know that Marcus Rashford is a long-term absentee. Rashford actually, could be out for the rest of the season. I think it got revealed before that probably could be fit for the European Championships this year, could Marcus Rashford. But he has got a back injury. But Solskjaer made the mistake by ever playing him against Wolves in that FA Cup third round match. If he hadn't played him, Rashford would have been fit now. He would have been fit now, would Marcus Rashford. But yeah, he's a long-term absentee. Lee Grant's also a long-term absentee. I think they're only the long-term absentees now. Obviously, Bay's just come back and he's done well since he's come back. Fosu Mensah and Tuanzebe now back. Luke Shaw's been superb since he come back because he was injured for like 2 months earlier on in the season. And Luke Shaw has received a lot of criticism. He has received a lot of criticism, obviously reflect on the amount of injuries he's had, also his poor run of form. But since he's come back, he's just done absolutely fantastic. So he does deserve a lot of credit, does Luke Shaw. And he did win the double player of the season. Last season, did Luke Shaw. Scored his second goal for the club in the FA Cup 5th round against Derby. But he's also done well. Martial sustained a few injuries this season. He's also doing really, really well now. Some people say he's better in number 9 and some people say he's better on the left. He predominantly plays on the left, but this season, Martial's been operating in that number 9 role. We know McTominay's just come back for us and he's done well since he's come back, McTominay. He's done really, really well. The news on Paul Pogba, I think he should be back for the Tottenham game on Sunday. He should be back because Solskjaer did reveal that, he was working with the physios outside and he said he was going to return to training this week. I think he's done an extra training session ahead of his comeback as Paul Pogba. Obviously, it's over a month ago now since he had that surgery on his ankle. He's had 2 injuries this season as Paul Pogba, but I think the second injury that I cured is worse than the first one he had. He hasn't played since Boxing Day as Pogba. He hasn't started a game from the start since September, so he's only played 8 games this season for Manchester United as Paul Pogba. He'll play again for the club before he leaves. If he leaves, I think he'll go to PSG or maybe Juventus. You know, they were planning to put £100 million bidding for him. Maybe he could go to Real Madrid. But Paul Pogba, you know, taking into account, is still a very, very imperative player. But it's good now that he is close to returning his Pogba. And Rio Ferdinand has urged us to make a decision on Paul Pogba. But it was a very, very good win, like I mentioned, against Manchester City, beating them by 2-0 at Old Trafford. I had a feeling we'd win the game because, like I mentioned, our record against the top 6 sides has been superb this season. I think it's been absolutely superb. So we've got a good record against the top 6. I think, you know, Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp's only had a better record against the top 6, is it, than us. We've registered now like 17 points, is it, from the top 6 this season. But it is the 3rd time we've beaten City this season. And it's the first time we've done a double over them in the league since the Alex Ferguson era. But like I mentioned, we fully deserve to win the game against Manchester City. But yeah, it's good to see, you know, that we are now in a good run of form. And hopefully, you know, we can keep this up. Tottenham's also going to be a tough test, even though they're enjoying a bad time at the moment. You know, we've got Lask first, though, in the last 16 of the Europa League. That is this Thursday. So the preview for that should be coming up today or tomorrow. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, like, on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.